started, I want to thank everybody that subscribed. Like I said before, it's all about building this congregation together, so we all play a part in this. And I just wanted to definitely give a big shout out to those that subscribe. Please continue to do so. Please continue to share the videos with your friends and family. They're all welcome to be part of our family. So with that being said, I appreciate it. Today's daily word is naked. Naked, N-A-K-E-D. And no, I'm not talking about walking around and seeing people with any clothes on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the naked that's mentioned many times in the Bible. And I want to talk about this so people can have like a better understanding of what it means when it talks about naked. When you think about naked, even like they said with Adam and Eve when they bit the fruit or whatever, and all of a sudden they seen themselves and they were naked and they realized it. And basically what naked entails is that you're out here in this world without the comfort of the word of the Lord, without the coverage of that. So if you really think about it, in order to be able to navigate in this world and be able to understand the different things that's going to be coming at you in this world, the pitfalls of this world, the haters of this world, the jealousies and the envy and all the other negative kind of things that's out there, that's lurking, the evil that's lurking. With that out there in this world, and when you don't have any kind of defense mechanisms and understanding about what you're getting into, that's what it is. That's what being naked is. When Adam and Eve was naked, they were naked because they weren't in the comforts of the Lord and the guidance of those that they were supposed to be, where they was initially at. That was removed from them. Now they're on their own. Now they see it around. No one's here, and they got to negotiate this world without having the proper guidance and the proper coverage. And that's kind of like what that means. And if you really think about that, a lot of us in this world are naked. And that's where people like myself and others that try to teach and talk about how not to be that way, how to be able to deal with any kind of situation that might come across or that you might encounter when you walk this earth. And that's very important to think about that. You need to learn how I see somebody and I can tell they're jealous or they're acting a certain way. You got to know when I need to challenge this situation, and then you got to know when is it worth me to challenge this situation. I'll challenge this situation at another time. You got to be able to pay attention to a whole lot of things that's going on. And a lot of times, you have those, and I was victim of this, this all, like I said, a lot of the things that I'm talking to you guys about is stuff that I had to learn. And you got to pay attention to everything. You got to be aware and try not to have tunnel vision when you're dealing with people and when you're dealing with environments. Be more open-minded. Look around. Be careful. Be cognitive of things. And also, you got to study. You got to study the Word. You got to study how. And Jesus, he set forth an unbelievable example for us. Just try to follow His path. Like He would say something like, if you go to, He told His disciples, if you go to a city or somewhere and they're not accepting of you, He said, brush your sandals off and then go somewhere else. And just my point being, just think at what He was doing to His disciples. He was trying to school them on how to deal with this world. Don't get caught up in what this world is. I remember they were talking about the Pharisees, and He was talking about the yeast, and it is rising. He was telling His disciples, be aware, there's going to be a rising of individuals and philosophies that's going to counter what Jesus was teaching them. And that's the same thing. We have to learn the Word. We have to learn what's most important. Times when you have to be aggressive towards a situation, times when you have to stay back and really look at the situation from a different perspective, a time to go consult with someone else, a time to do a whole multitude of other things. But That's where naked versus not being naked comes into play. You don't want to. You want to be the one that has the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, the know-how, the experience. Know who you're dealing with. Like the Bible talks about people who might have unclean spirits in them. You got to know how to recognize that unclean spirit. You got to look and say, you know what? I'm using his name out of nowhere. This I'm just using that as an example. Johnny. Johnny has Johnny doesn't act like that. Why is Johnny being this way? What's going on with Johnny? So you sit back and think about it. And then you start evaluating, and then you listening, and then you really looking at what Johnny's doing. And then say, for example, you can tell this person just came around and all they want to do is cause trouble, and you already recognize them as soon as they walked in the door because of their demeanor, the things that they're saying, their posture, the way that they're standing, the kind of, the lingo that they're speaking, the way that they're speaking. You can already say, oh, okay, this person is about trouble here, or this person is about jealousy. You might look at somebody, you see a couple of people whispering to each other, pointing, laughing, and doing little things like that. Automatically, this is somebody that's probably jealous of somebody, or they got issue with somebody. And I'm telling you these kind of things. I'm telling you these things to look out for them, just to look out for them. And then you navigate how you want to deal with situations so that you don't find yourself locked up, injured, or having to do something to somebody else because you're not aware of what you're into, and you're not aware of what those unclean spirits or what Satan is trying to get you to do. See, a lot of times Satan wants you to hurt yourself. He wants you to do something to go against God's way, because that way you're punished for what you're doing. But if you would have kept the principles of what Jesus Christ teaches us, or just the principles of the Bible in general, more specifically like the New Testament and some of the things that they were teaching, if you incorporate a lot of that in your life, in your daily walk in life, it'll save you a lot of trouble in the long run. It talks to you about how you deal with your relationships, with your loved ones, with your children, your wife, your husband. It's a lot of things that like they say, you and your wife you become one. You're not separate any longer. You become one, and you got to think that way when you with that person. You think, hey, we're as one. We're not separate, and that takes some training too, because some people don't have that. So that I'm just giving you examples of how when we're out here in this world, we're like an empty vessel. And you know how they say experience is the best teacher? It's a great teacher experience, but I won't necessarily call it the best teacher. The best teacher is to listen to those who are teaching the righteous things and teaching the right things. I don't want to learn that if I touch the stove with it on, my hands burn. Oh, I know not to touch the stove when the pilot's lit. I don't want to learn from burning my hand. I want to learn by my mother saying, "Hey, don't go over there and touch that stove." Especially don't touch when you see those burners on and you see that fire right there. Don't touch it, but don't touch the stove anyway. I'd rather learn that way than go over there and touch it and burn my hand. And that's the kind of things, and using an analogy of how we got to look at the world. We're naked. Like I said, that's really, when you see that term in the Bible, when it says naked, it's really talking about you're an empty vessel put somewhere, and you have to, and you're at the mercy of what comes your way without having the knowledge to deal with it. And that's exactly what happened to Adam and Eve. When he said he knew he was naked, and they knew where they were, oh wow, they knew they weren't under the umbrella of the Lord to protect them how it was before they went out there. You ever try to teach your kids something and they didn't listen, and then what you say, okay, you got to go learn the hard way. But if you would have listened to me when I said, be careful with your credit cards. I said, be careful with your credit cards. But you're sitting, you went out to eat, and you set your credit cards right on the table, didn't even care, and left them there, went to the restroom or whatever. Now somebody got hold of your credit cards and charged some things up. And that's basically what I'm talking about. And I'm using a bunch of analogies here, but I just want you to kind of understand that we have to have knowledge of how to deal with this world. And in doing so, we can navigate through this world more peacefully, smart, in a smart way, and we can help others. And that's what it's all about. Just wanted to share that with you. Talk to you soon. God bless.